everyone, welcome back to the Mom's View. I'm Kaylee, this is Carly and Colette, and we're so happy that you're hanging out with us today. Do you guys have updates? What's going on? You went to Paris.
Yes, I did. I have gifts for you guys. I was gonna give them on camera, but I put them somewhere.
Where are they?
Production team. Oh yeah, it's just us. I forgot. So I'll give them on camera next time. It was beautiful and wonderful.
Good.
But the pictures looked amazing.
The architecture is just insane. I'm so touristy when I go out of the U.S. because it's just such a different world, you know. But I loved it. It was fun. I have all the tips for you guys when you go.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll need them.
Get ready.
that's our plan for Braylee's like graduation trip.
So fun.
You'll love it. Paris is beautiful and people are bilingual and it makes me as an American be like, so many more people in Europe are bilingual than I know a lot of Americans are.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It's
you
more
know?
common.
Yeah.
You know what is really cool? Something Gage actually got into this program, and when we were going to move back to Utah after we lived in California, and then we decided to move here to Idaho. But he got into a program where it's a dual immersion program, and they speak
cool.
Spanish half of the day.
That's awesome.
And
Such
part of me is like, why didn't we just do that? Because he would know Spanish by now. But
Yeah. If you know
'Cause it
two
is
languages,
important.
it's so helpful. And you always find it, like, it always comes up, you know? I'm glad Jackson knows Spanish. So I was like, what?
definitely it is.
Talk to my husband.
It's such a great thing.
Yeah.
What about you? What's happening?
Well, summer is here, and it's like I'm always excited for the kids to be home for summer, but then a part of me is like, okay. Somebody hit me over the head. I have to get back together.
Somebody
here.
probably did hit you over the head. All
I
five of your
know.
kids are home.
It's like literal. But yeah, it just feels like our whole schedule, like I finally get into a system, and sometimes like by the end of the year you're done with the system.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
we're done with the practices and the dance classes and you just get tired. But then summer starts and it's exciting, but now it's like, okay, we cannot all just like throw our crap all over the house all day long and not have any repercussions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
trying to get into like a chore schedule and sleeping schedule.
I saw a blogger that I follow that I love. Her name's Jenna's Kitchen. She had like a check sheet or a checklist that she laminated and put on the back of their door. And it was like, wake up. And then they had the time that they woke up and then brush your teeth and just things that she wanted. And they had to check that
Right.
off because she was like, just because it's summer doesn't mean it's like a free for all.
Right.
And I love that because I'm like, sometimes like even things like brushing their teeth in the summer because they just want to run out and play.
Yeah.
It's like, I think you have bugs crawling on your teeth. When's the last time you brushed your teeth? Like, I love that. That's a good idea. And it's just like every day they erase it and then they start over and they just make sure they do those simple things.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking that I'm gonna do?
DIY.
You did it. Yes.
I'm like, please do it for me.
It's something you made,
The chore chart.
a chore chart on the Mom's View with money attached to it. Because guess what?
I will pay all
I've
the money.
tried it all. I've tried so many different chore charts. I've tried getting very angry. I've tried so many things and I was like, you know
Can
what?
you imagine this face angry? Come on.
Who gets angry?
Very soft.
I'm kidding.
I get really angry.
Kaylee's like, I will kick your ASS. Watch me.
The ones that seem the nicest can be the meanest. I'm sure of it. I'm so sure of it. Anyways, I've really tried everything and I just thought, I'm bribing them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put money in, like they have their chores they have to do. They're not getting paid, like garbages, dishes.
Yeah.
But any extra things, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make a chore.
I love chore chart. You're my favorite.
A chore chart with money and then also Bashams for Winston.
Oh,
Yeah.
he loves.
So that
Just have them already there so they can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, like even just today I bribed my kids. I'm like, somebody do the dishes and I'll pay you. And like, no takers.
Right.
It was
But
a
if
good
they
amount,
see
too.
it,
I
if
was
they-
here for it.
If they see the money sitting there in a baggie, they're gonna be like, okay.
That's
Yeah.
different. That's true.
Because they can just grab
It's
it.
tangible.
Yep. That's
I'm
my plan.
incentivized by money and food, so they can get food with money. So
Okay.
Well,
You could put
I'll
candy
come
in
over to
the
your house. Like,
baggies.
can I check out your chore chart? What's on there?
We've been trying to like not cut all sugar, but a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
Because I've been really trying not to eat so much.
Makes a difference.
And so that would make them excited if I put some candy in some bags.
Yeah.
Good
Especially if
idea.
you've cut it out, they'd be like, okay, mom,
Yep.
Yep.
give me the candy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm dealing with. So
Right. I'm
maybe
kind
on the
of
next one
same.
we'll have some ideas.
Yeah. We'll do the chore chart. We should leave a link for that video.
Yeah.
Because that is what I'm going to do this week. I have planned. Casey's already been traveling for hunting and Hush, and it's been a little overwhelming for both of us. I think he's like, every time I leave now, I'm like, what am I missing out on at home? Which makes me like, oh, I'm like,
Everything.
well, actually, you're missing out on me yelling, kids crying. So just enjoy your time because
Because flying, who knows?
these are the things. But he was serious and he was just like, it's hard to travel. And I feel like now I've kind of gotten used to it. And now he's kind of like, wait, maybe I shouldn't travel as much anymore. But he started, and that just kind of, I don't know, makes us excited to do more like family trips and family time and make the best of our summer. So that's what we're trying to do. Did that make sense at all?
Yes.
Yes.
It always makes sense.
Okay. Okay, well, I have the topic today, and this is something that I really needed to hear. I had something happen with one of my kids, and it was like a big deal, but not a huge, huge deal. Not such a big deal that it should have affected me the way it did, but it affected me, and it like broke my heart because this little thing triggered everything that I've been doing wrong as a mom. Like everything, like every ball that I've dropped throughout the year. Like this one little thing. Do you ever have moments like that where it's like you feel like, okay, things happen and you're like figure it out as you go and figure it out and like kind of like, okay, we'll take care of that later, and then one little thing will happen and it's just like everything is a mess and I have failed at everything.
It's like the one pin holding it all together,
Yes.
and then you pull it, and it's like,
Yeah.
Yep.
So I had a couple of weeks where I was just like, I can't, I thought I was doing this right. I thought I was doing that right. I thought that I was figuring this out, and I'm just not. I'm not where I thought that I was. It made me like feel like I took a step back as a mom when I felt like I was like doing better and figuring it out. And someone that I follow on Instagram recommended this podcast called Better Than Happy, and she had a podcast called It's Not About Me. And when she started the podcast, she well, first let me say, when she ended the podcast, she said, this is not meant to make anyone feel selfish.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start with that because what I'm going to say is not meant to make anyone feel selfish, because as I was listening, I was like, oh, I do that. Like, why do I do that? But it's not meant to make anyone feel selfish. This happens naturally. Like naturally, in different situations, our brain automatically goes to, it's about me.
yeah.
In so many situations, it's just very, very natural. In many ways, it's like a child, she says. And it can also be referred to as your ego. It's all about me. It's about me. This is about me. It's just natural. So, a lot of times in different situations, we think naturally, will this better me? Will this better my life? Will this make me, will this encourage me, inspire me? Or will this hurt me? Or will that, like that's kind of how we weigh out situations naturally. And she talked about even like when we set goals, or if we fail to reach our goals, we'll make that about me when it doesn't necessarily mean that it's about you.
Yeah.
It means like if you're trying to sell something, for example, this is the example she gave. If you're trying to sell something on Etsy and it didn't do well, that isn't about you as a person. That's maybe about the product, or it's maybe about the marketing, or it's maybe about, all of these different things. It's not about you. And the thing that's hard about that is it's personal. Like most situations are personal. And so it's hard not to make it about you when things are personal.
Right.
And she talked about, if you have that it's about me mindset, then it's easier to give up. People who don't have that mindset, they're like, okay, this isn't about me. So I'm going to try again, and I'm going to do better marketing. I'm going to do better at these different things. And this isn't really what I wanted to talk about, but this is where she started. And anyways, she also talked about like relationships. When you meet someone for the first time, it's easy to make it about you. Like, I really hope this person likes me.
Right.
Yeah.
I really hope I didn't say anything to like hurt their feelings or offend. Like those things are kind of making it about you instead of thinking like, I wonder what they're interested in. I wonder, like just wondering about them instead of worrying about like things that you may have done.
Right. Like
And
you're
that's just-
so focused on putting your best foot forward. It's like maybe you're missing out on just really actually getting to know them.
Right. And she said when you do that, when you meet people, when you're in a relationship with someone like that, you are acting. Because you're trying to be like, you're making it about you. And instead of like two people just
Being together.
letting that down and just being together,
Right.
Such a good point.
you're kind of acting. Okay, well, the reason that this really hit me is because then she got into your kids and how their like failures or their wrong choices or if they're struggling with something isn't about me. My child's choices aren't about me. They're about them.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's so hard because there's nothing more personal than your kids. Like, you want them to be happy. You don't want to see them hurting. And she said, why do you think that is? You have to stop and ask yourself, why don't I want my child to hurt? Is it because I don't want to see them hurting? Because like, we all went through hurting and we went through pain and we went through different things because it's helped us grow. So as a parent, you have to step back and say, this isn't about me. Or even this morning, like, everyone was yelling, everything was chaotic. And I was just like, this is not fair. Like, I'm trying to get ready. I have so much going on, you know, and it automatically, I was like, it's about me. I need to get ready and I need to get out here. And I even had this topic in mind and I was like, Haley, it's not about you. So it is something that I feel like you almost have to like literally stop and think, this isn't about me.
Right.
Yeah.
This is about them. You know, if you have a child who's struggling in school, I automatically think that it's my fault.
Yeah.
Even though like you try to remind them to do their homework, you try to help them when you can. If they are struggling, then it's easy to make it about you
Yeah.
because you're the mom.
Right.
But
That's
it's about
really hard to
them.
separate.
Yeah.
It's really,
So
really
funny.
hard.
And I'm like, because where do you like, because I hate the victim mentality. And so when people are like, is there such a thing as somebody who thinks nothing is about them? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think
Right.
my inner insecurities are that I'd never want to be that person. So then I do make it all about me, like whether it's a good or a bad thing. Like, because I don't want to be that person that's
we just
like,
do naturally.
oh, Cooper's not doing well, so am I not helping him read, or am I not encouraging? Am I not setting a good example? You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to be that parent that's like, well, it's up to them. I'm just gonna be Netflix and chilling, and they're just whatever, you know.
It's about you.
Yeah, you know, and then
This
you're
is
like,
all about you.
because then it's like you don't want to be that mom that's not actually doing any.
Yeah.
So I think at the end of the day, you have to like take the shame away.
Yes.
And be willing to be like, you know what, I've done what I can. Wash my hands clean. It's not about me.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing. She said, when you make everything about you, then you do live in shame, which then sets you back. And it's just crazy how natural it is, because even like I was going over this morning about what I wanted to say, and I kept thinking like, I don't even know how to tell the difference. Kind of like what you were
Yeah.
saying, like like where do I play a role in this? But I have to make it not about me.
Yeah, or
But
like
it's
finding
hard.
that balance or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, it's very tricky.
And when I first listened to this podcast at the time, and you should listen to it, she obviously does a better job than I'm doing. But it just made me feel better, because I was like, it isn't about me. My kids have to learn, no matter what situation. They have to learn. And she even talked about, you know, different tests and different things that might come up in your child's life. And if they fail, then most likely that test will come back around to them. And then they're going to know how to deal with it. They're going to know what not to do, you know, so it's about them.
I think it's a really good foundation to start laying, or a practice to start practicing now, because we kind of were talking about this before we started filming, that your kids aren't going to be your kids forever, and you can't take responsibility for them for the rest of their lives. Even though there are children, there has to come a point where you let them live their life and you let them make their choices. Even if you want them to be a certain, you know, you have this idea in mind for how their life is going to play out, you have to be willing as a parent to let them accept their life path.
Yeah.
And I think that if you live in that world of it's always your
about
fall or it's always your success, then it'll be very hard when your kids turn 18 and they want to go down a completely different path that you never had in mind.
Yeah.
Because then you're just like wrapped up in that world of breaking loose of when do you get to start living your life again and letting them own their own life.
Yeah.
And that's hard. Like, it's such an innocent but toxic habit that I can even see so much when you're saying so many things. I was like, oh my gosh, I do this all the time.
I was the same way.
Well, everybody does.
I'm like, oh,
Very
And
natural.
I think then you go back to shame.
Yeah.
yeah, because you don't, it's like, it's kind of like a good but bad quality to have. You know, if you make it
so
about,
natural.
yes.
It's like you oscillate between like taking too much responsibility and then trying to get rid of all responsibility. It's like
Yeah.
finding that balance. It's interesting as you're talking about this, because I feel like, you know, the new things that I've been learning over the course of the last couple of years are all in this theme, you know, of like, you know, you have your ego, which is like your personality and who you think you are, but then you have your true self, which is your soul, and you're always just loved. You're like you're a human being worth love, and you can do anything really. But it's like we attach ourselves to this ego where it's like we're either not enough, or we like try to trick ourselves into thinking that we mean more than everybody else, or it's like this balance that we have to find. And I've been studying and working the 12 Steps program, like for AA and Al-Anon, and I think that it has the same theme where it's like our goal is to know our own worth. And when you truly know your worth, not just like being egocentric or being self-deprecating, like when you know your worth inside, then you're more able to take responsibility where you need to take responsibility, and more able to let go of what you don't have control of. Like it's all control, like taking control where you have control, and being able to let go where you don't. And really, there's only one place where we have control, and that's our own choices, our own reactions, and what we do with the things in our life. And part of that is teaching our kids to do that for themselves. Like you can only control certain things, and it's hard because I see that in relationships in my life where it's like you want something so badly, like you want your kids to succeed, and you don't want to see them fail. You don't want to see pain because you know what it feels like. But then when you're trying to take control of making sure they don't feel pain, then you're almost robbing them, and you're in a state of distress because you're trying to take control where you absolutely do not have control.
Right.
And the more you try to take control, the more you make a mess of things.
It's like, it really is such an innocent, like, not ambition, but
it's human nature.
Do you feel like a lot of I realize like a lot of this is centered around fear, the fear of our kids failing, the fear that we're failing, the fear that we're not doing enough. And it's like, you gotta just like living in a state of fear is probably, I think, the number one people that do naturally, they don't realize that they're doing.
Absolutely.
And that's like, this just kind of sounds like owning your life and choices and getting over yourself in moments, and then other moments like letting people take responsibility what they should take responsibility for, even if they are children. Such a good, I can't wait to download this. I mean, this is awesome.
It was really good, and it was just exactly what I needed to hear at the time, because I was feeling like I did everything wrong, and then I was like, oh, this isn't about me. I'm doing what I can.
You're doing the best you can in any moment.
And these things that are happening aren't about me, because I know that. And I'm
glad
not
you brought this
perfect,
topic.
but it was something that I really needed, and I thought maybe someone else needs it.
Yes,
so we'll leave a link down below so that you can listen to it. It was a great podcast, and I haven't had a chance to listen to more of her podcasts, but I really want to, because she's a mom, and and I love it.
So I love that perspective.
Thank you.
Yeah. So anyways, I hope that helped anyone who was needing or maybe feeling a little bit like me. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.